What's up, everybody? It's React Jesus, and as promised, today we will be making a clone of ChatGPT that we'll then tomorrow install onto our iPhones. If you have an iPhone, if not, you can still look at it on the Google Chrome or whatever browser you have on your Android, and it's going to be extremely fun. We're going to build this out as fast as possible, but also have it look good and all the rest of it. So first thing I'm going to do is get right into it. I'm just going to go up here, and if I type CMD in here, what it will do is it will open up a command prompt that's already in this folder. So the idea behind that is so that I can type code dot, and that will open up VS Code in that folder. You could also open a folder here and make a new folder, but moral of the story is now I'm here inside this code folder, and what I'm going to do is press Control and backtick to open up the console, and I'm going to say npx create React app, and then I'm going to call this open-ai.tut. So now it's going to create our React app. So while that's happening, I'm going to go to this right here, and I'm going to search for Tailwind create React app. So I have this here, and I'm going to copy each of these. Let's just put this over here like that. So we'll let that install. The other thing I'm going to look at is the OpenAI API docs, because I'm, to be honest, winging it, but we can do it. I know we can do it, so it won't be too bad. This is for configuring configuring the API, making requests, model chat. So I'm just waiting right here for this to finish. Wait, maybe it did finish. It did finish. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, press File, Open Folder, go in here, and open actually this folder, like that. Now I'm going to go into the source folder, and I'm going to delete app.css, app.test, logo, report web vitals, setup test, go to index, delete that, delete this, like that, save the file. And now I'm going to go to the docs here. I'm going to open up the console again, and I'm going to copy this command right here and paste it, press enter. Then I'm going to copy this file right here, and then paste this one for the tailwind config.js and paste that in here, save that. Next I'm going to grab this and put it in the index.css file and save that. And then I'm going to go down here again and type npm install. So we need a few more packages. We're going to need twin.macro. We're going to need, sorry, that's like this, one word. Then we're going to need @emotion/styled. And the last one we're going to need is OpenAI. So press enter. I think that's all we're going to need for this project. And we'll let that install, and then we can type npm start. And now it should open up over here in our window, like that. Now if we go to app.js, this is going to crash because this is stuff we deleted. So I'm going to press Control-A, backspace. If you don't have it, it's called like React Code snippets or something. Type RFC, press enter. It's an extension. React, ES7 React snippets. So you can look that up and install that. You can make these components a lot faster. Now we have it showing up app. Okay, so the first thing I want to do basically is build out the UI. And so I'm going to actually open up the dev tools and put us in a phone. I have the iPhone 12 Pro size phone. So we're going to design it for this. And so now that we have that open, keep that aside. Maybe make this a little smaller. Okay. And now close this guy over here, and let's start building this out. So my thought here is we're going to need a just like a header to show them the stuff. We're going to need a chat feed. And so that's where the conversations bubbles are going to be. And then we're going to need a message box. Message form, I like that. Message form. So that's where we're going to submit messages from. So header, just so we can put our name up in the header, a chat feed, and message form. So I'm gonna also pull up over here, say iMessage, go to images, just because I kind of want to copy how iPhone does it on our design, because iPhone's looks pretty good. So I'm going to save this image just so I can open it up. I actually could have done it another way, but it's fine. So I'll open that up, and now I have this over here on my other monitor. You can just trust me that I do. But that's kind of what I'm going to be using to model what we're going to do. We'll have a message bar here. We'll have the name of our app up here, and then we'll do bubbles like this. If we wanted to go really crazy, we could also add more stuff like text to speech. There's packages for that. But I'm going to do that based on requests from the comments. So that's basically what we'll do for this video. And then we can expand on this project or make new projects, make 3D projects, all the rest of it like I've been advertising, because that's what we do here. So just reach out in the comments and let me know what you're looking for, and I'll help you learn. So let's go for it. So let's make the header. We don't need actually to be its own component. The chat feed, I think we're going to do that. So we're going to do const feed equals a new function that returns feed. Okay. And then might as well do this. So we'll call this message form, and we'll return message form. The power of technology with that chat or GitHub Copilot. Highly recommended. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a wrapper here, and the wrapper is going to hold our app. We can open this back up. And so that's going to be up here. So we'll say const wrapper equals TW, and then I'll press enter to import that, and then make this a header tag. And then we're going to make it a, just give it a height of something. Width full should already be on it, but I'm just going to explicitly say it. And then we want BG neutral 50, so basically white. But now we can actually see it. I don't know if you can see it. I'll make it 500 real quick. So you can see that's what the header's looking like. I think it's a little bit too tall, so I'll go 20. Maybe we'll go 24, so that'll be fine. We got that, and then I know that since we're going to have something in the header, we're going to actually make this BG white and give it a shadow on the bottom of it. So shadow B. Wait, are you able to do that? I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm basically looking at this iPhone design. See, there's this shadow here. That could be a border bottom too. I can't quite tell. But this will work. So that's the idea here. I don't know why you full screen on me. And then what we'll grab is, since I know there's going to be content in it, like I was saying, I'm going to do flex, item center, and justify center. That should be fine. Like that. Save. Okay. Oh, wait. What am I thinking? This is all stuff that's for the header component. So I'm building out the header, but this is the wrapper component I'm putting it on. So I'm going to say const header equals this. And then I'm going to say tw.div for our main. And we're just simply going to make this hscreen. Okay. And then we'll put the header inside of here. Okay, it says chat app. We're going to call mine TimGPT for now. You can name it however you like. Next thing we're going to do is go actually to our header again, and we're going to give it a text size so it's a little bit nicer to look at, because we got space for that. So now we got that. Now the wrapper, we have it as height screen, so that's good. Maybe we can even just do width screen, flex call. So now we got this element, and all these elements will come in nice. I think this is what we want. So if we go like this, it should just look good. Yeah, that's what we want. So we'll undo those. So we got the basic thing there. So then let's create this message form. So the message form component is going to be const message box, which is going to be basically the container that holds this, is going to be a tailwind div. And it's also got like this BG white to it. And it's also got shadow, I guess. Shadow. And then we want 2 buttons on here. We want the text bar and the send button, so we can give it a flex. Okay, and then we can say absolute because we want it to be on the bottom. So like that. Now we'll grab message box and put it here so we can see it. Does not look like it's working. I think we need relative on this. Oh yeah, and then we grab message form and actually put it in our component. Message form. Boom. There she is. Okay, so is there not a shadow top? Why not? We'll say border top, and then we'll say border neutral. Let's go 400. And then we'll say actually divide that by 50%, so it's also opaque. Yeah, 20% opacity is fine. Okay, and so it's actually too tall. So we'll say 12. That's more like it. Good. And then what we can do is we can create our const, our input. So this is where we're going to do our input. We'll see what it does for us off the rip with CodePilot. It's got a width full, height full. We probably don't want that unless we put padding on this. Outline none. We definitely want border. We want to be the neutral 300 or so. Okay, and then we'll throw our input in here like that. Okay, it's working. Message box needs py1 px2. Okay, that's good. BG transparent, that's fine. Border neutral, but then it needs actually border on it. Okay, and then this itself needs a p1, a p2. Final answer, and then we can do rounded full without the bottom selector. Rounded full. Okay, so we got our rounded thing. On here we can give it a placeholder of message. So like that. Now if we get rid of this, it says message in there. Okay, and then we need our button. It's just gonna look like this. Throw that in here. Okay. And then we can say send like that. Now we have the flex on here, so that means we can give it a gap of 4. Like that. I'm not exactly happy with 100% how that looks actually, but we're gonna take it for now. We could get a SVG in here. Maybe I'll grab that real quick. So I'll look up hero icons, and I'll type in airplane. Take this, copy SVG, go in my source folder, create a new folder called assets. And create a new folder in case we end up expanding this project. Just get this right. Make a new file called airplane.svg. Paste this in here. Then we can go back into the app, and then we can go to the top of this file, and we can say import. and we want it to be a React component so it's easier to use. So we'll say React component as airplane, and we're going to import this from ./assets/svg/airplane svg. I'm assuming it got it right. It did. So then airplane, we can put in here airplane. Okay, like that. And now if we come back, we probably need to give the SVG some style. So we'll select the SVG and we'll say, give it a width of 6, height 6, text white. Just like that. Too big. 4s, 5s. Okay, and then stroke 2. Stroke 2. It's a little thicker. Okay, we'll take that for now. We can add some hover effects and stuff like that later. You can also do that on your own time. I want to make this bar 14 instead. No, I don't. It was perfect. 1 is not the number 12. Okay, so this is going to work. So we got our styles on here. I'm going to go ahead and close this again. Now the last thing is the feed. And so the feed, I know that we're going to have a prop come in here called feed, right? Something like that. And for now, we're going to set it equal to an array of, we're just going to set it equal to an array, and we're actually going to come and style this later because it's kind of hard to style it at this point. And so we're just going to give this a const feed wrapper equals tailwind.div. That's what we want, and then we can say const, and we'll actually get to that part later because I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do it yet. So when we start getting the messages in, then we'll be like, okay, now we know what we need to do. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up the JavaScript and the JSX and actually map this feed. We're not going to need the index, I'm sure of it. And then here what we can say is just an empty thing that's coming later. And then you forgot your parenthesis here, Timmy. There you go. So hi, and then we can just put some numbers in here like that. Oops, 1. Okay. Then we can say feed. Now it's doing this. So this feed wrapper is going to need a flex call and a gap of probably 4, like that. And since these are in fragments, they don't know that they are different elements. So I'm going to make this a div. Boom. Just like that. Now we got our feed going. So now I wonder if I put a comma here so that I can select all of this and paste it a few times. If we have our scroll working. It looks like it's working, except for because it's absolute, this bottom bar is absolute, our messages are going behind, and I want the bottom of the feed to be right at the bottom. So I want to subtract the header and the footer size. So 12. 24 is 36. So max height equals calc. And what we're going to do is we're going to say 100 VH minus. Alright guys, I got a little interrupted, but we're back here. So what we were doing is we were grabbing the height of these two and subtracting it from the full thing. And so what this comes out to be is 96 pixels minus 96 pixels minus, if we come here, we can inspect this bad boy and see it's 48 pixels. So 48 pixels. And so we'll save that. And now you see when we scroll all the way down, the last message is showing. And then I'm just going to subtract maybe like 4 pixels to get a little bit more space. Actually, no, we'll do this for now, and we'll see if we need to change it when we make our bubbles. Okay, so we got that. We got our feed. Now what we can do is we'll just close this off and, like that. Go like this, and then we'll change this to a question mark. So if there's a feed, we'll render that. Otherwise, don't trip out on us. Okay, so now we got our basic fundamentals down for our app. What we're going to go into next is we're going to actually come into this folder, and we're going to create a new file, and this is going to be a hook. So I could make a new folder called hooks and make a new file in there, but since this project is small at this point, I'm just going to create a new file and call it use open AI.js. Just like that. Just like that. And then I'm going to type RFC, create a component, remove this, change it to return null for now, so that's fine. And this is what we're actually going to be using in our app here. We're going to say, up here, we're going to say const. This will be an object later, so I'm just type obj equals use open AI, like that. And now we're using our hook in here, and just like that, we'll have access to what OpenAI offers us as we build out this hook. Okay, good. The next thing we need to do is come into this main file and create a new file called .env, and this is so we can store our environment variable. So when we deploy this on our app in Netlify, we can put the key hidden, so it's in the environment, and we're able to access the API key through our app, but it's also not exposed to the public. So that's important because they can drain your bank account. So we'll say React _ app, which is required for these things. And then we'll say open AI API key, like that. Now it's required to actually, when you make an update to this file, you have to turn off your terminal and turn it back on. So we'll do that after we grab the API key. So I'm going to go to platform.openai.com, and here I'm going to create a new secret key. I'm going to revoke this after I post the video, so you can't use it, but you'll want to create your own key here. And about this is you'll get like a free month, and then after that there's a really very affordable until you start scaling then, but then you'll be making profit, so that's okay. You'll see usage. I've used it kind of like crazy, and it's cost me 4 cents. So and that's after the free trial. So anyways, we copy, or where's our key? Sorry, it's up here. Here, view API keys. So I copied this to my clipboard, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to paste it like that. No quotes are required. And now that I have the React app OpenAI API key, I'm going to Control-C to terminate the terminal, and then I'm going to npm start again. And then we're going to go into a new... Yeah, I think the best way to do this is we're going to create a new file here called OpenAI config.js. And so this is where we're going to configure the OpenAI. And so what we need to do is go to the docs over here. And so I'm at the docs, and I'm going to go to up here, boom, this code right here. So we're not doing it in Node.js for this project. We're actually going to do it all in React. We'll do MERN apps in the future, definitely. They're extremely powerful. But for this one, it's not required. So what we'll do is we'll import the stuff from OpenAI, which, remember, we npm installed this. And then we're going to create a const called config. And this config is going to be equal to this new configuration. And we're going to put our API key here. And then we're going to close it off. We don't need the organization ID. And then what we'll put here is going to be process.env dot this variable, paste in like that. Boom, now we have a configuration that's going to configure everything we need with our API key. So now we have this stored into a variable as well. We could just put this inside of here, but multiple lines is okay here. So we'll say const OpenAI, and so this is going to be the actual OpenAI instance that we're going to be able to use to make the API calls. So we're going to say new OpenAI API, and we're going to pass in our configuration into it. And then we're going to, last but not least, export default OpenAI. So that's going to allow us to use OpenAI throughout our app with it already configured. So just like that, we're done with this file for the whole app. So now it comes to this section. So I know what we want in this use OpenAI. We want a few things. We want a state for loading. Set loading. So we'll import state, control space. We'll open that back up, the IntelliSense, and then we can do an error state, and then we're going to do const. We'll call it feed. So it'll keep up to date with the feed. So set feed like that. So that's going to hold all of our messages here. Or like that. The next thing we're going to need is we're going to need a function that is going to generate a response. So what we'll do here is we'll say const generate. That's a good name for it. And it's going to be an async function. And this async function is going to take one thing in, and it's going to be the prompt. Like that. And then we're going to go into this function. Now, before I build out this, we're going to return some things. We're going to return an object. And this object is going to have loading, it's going to have error, it's going to have the feed, and it's going to have generate, like that. Now, because I'm a fan of this, we could have made this app in TypeScript, but I want the most people to be able to use this. I'm going to quickly type def what each of these are, so that way when we use this, it's actually IntelliSense will be a little bit smarter. I'll show you what that means. This is feed is not going to be this. Prompt does take a string, and it promises void, so that's correct. Now this is actually going to be something we'll actually just go ahead and at type definition of a response. Sorry, is an object, and we're going to call it a response. And these are actually, they look like this. So they have a property string called role. And so this is either going to be assistant, or it's going to be user, or system, which I'll show you what that means. And then there's going to be, I think it's called a message. Or it's called response. I can't remember. But this is basically what our object's going to look like. It's going to have a key role and a key message. And we're not going to have our feed be an array of strings. We're going to have our feed be an array of these response objects. So like that. Now if I come back to our app again, we can go ahead and get these things. Error, feed, and generate. Boom. So now we have our functions. Now you see when I hover over these things, you can see what they are. That's why I type def'd it. And so that's going to be very useful. So if I try to say, so we have feed ready to go in here, so we might as well just pass feed in. Now, feed. So our feed's going into our feed component, and now if I hover, if I come here, I can also type def this. Param is an object called props. Props. And then props.feed is an array of, and we're going to import from response. We're going to import this from use open API like that. So now, boom, like that, feed. So now feed is an array of responses. So now this is going to be an object, and we can destructure this object as a role and a message. So this will be very helpful. Message like that. This is going to need a key, and we're going to say, I know message might not always be the exact same, but we're going to get away with it for now. So it could be the same, but it will get away with it. So now we got our feed kind of going through. Next, we got to go to use OpenAI, and let's actually build out this generate function. So that's what's going to change all of these things. So when we start generating, first thing we want to do is set loading to true. So like that. Set error to null. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're actually going to try to do this. If it fails, then we'll say set error to the error message. Like that. And then what are we going to try here? We're going to try to create a, let's see, GPT 3.5 Turbo JavaScript. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Something like this. Here, let me actually give myself more space over here. So this is the API. We want chat completion. Yeah. Okay. So boom, boom, boom. You can build your own applications. Chat series. An example API call looks like the following. So yeah, so this is what it will look like. And so it's actually messages, and then it's called content. So I made a little mistake here. So it's role and content. So I'm going to change this to the word content. I'm going to copy it, save, come here, change this to content. Okay, cool. Back into this, we have our try, and what we're going to try to do is we're going to say OpenAI, or we're going to say, let's say const res for response equals await, and we're going to await OpenAI, which I'm surprised it's not letting us just import it. So we'll have to do that up here. We'll say import OpenAI from OpenAI config. Yeah, okay, it's happy. So we got OpenAI, and then we're gonna do .chat completion, create chat completion. I think is actually the one we want. So making a request, and will return us some values. And so we're going to open up this object, and this is where it takes in a model, and the model we're going to use is the newest and cheapest one, GPT-3.5 Turbo. Turbo. All right, like that. And then we're going to say messages is going to be equal to an array, and this array is going to have, I would like to have it have some initial messages, so it's a little bit teed up. And so what they do here, see, role system, okay? Content, you are a helpful assistant. Role user, who won the World Series in 2020? Assistant, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And then the user asks another question. So I'm actually going to grab these three right here, prompts, and I'm going to paste them in. I'm going to give space here, like that. Okay, so now we have the first three like this. These are going to be our initial messages, and they're going to be sent each time. And then what we're going to do after that is we're going to then spread in our feed like that. Okay? So what basically is happening here is these messages are going to be sent every time, followed by whatever we have on our feed. So when we send a message, it's going to be added to our feed. And then when they respond, it will be added to our feed. And so all of the subsequent messages are going to be appended each time we make this request into here. Okay? Just like that is good. So what we need to do is when we get their prompt, what we want to do is we want to say, we're going to set the feed. So we're going to say set feed to be what the feed already is. Okay? So we're actually going to make this a little bit better, and we're going to say the current feed. Okay? And we're going to say the current feed, and then we're going to add a new object into this feed that has the role of user, as seen here, right? So when we use this generate function and pass in a prompt, we're going to create a new object with the role user and the content of that prompt into here. Then after that, we're going to even better. Oh yeah, okay, idea. So I'm actually going to cut this, and I'm going to say const new feed or something. We'll call it new feed, and it's going to be like this. And then we're going to set feed to be the new feed. Okay, so we're going to grab what we already have, add this prompt that they put in into it, and set this into the new feed. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say spread in the new feed in here. Okay, so now this is being appended into this, and it's also adding our message into our request. Okay, and so now we have to wait for this response, and so after this response we get we'll have to console log, because I honestly do not know where the data is. So we're going to console log the res, and then after this we're going to set loading to false. And that should be good for now. So it's really close. We're actually really, really close already. So now if we come in here, we can say we'll use these in a bit. We'll just go ahead and say, okay. Yeah, we can probably just pass generate into this component like that. So we'll go down here, generate, and we're going to say it's an object that takes in props, and the param takes in a string, and yeah, perfect. You could say returns a JSX element, but I don't care. Now we're going to use this function. So we're going to say const message equals set message is a use state. We're going to import use state like that. Okay, and then here we're going to add a value prop, and the value is going to be whatever's this in this state, and we're going to have a on change, which is going to simply take the event, and then we're going to, from the event, access the target, meaning the element, the input element, and we're going to get the value attribute from it. Okay, and we're actually going to set message to that. So now, if we come back to our app again, should be good. We can type in here, and it still works just fine. Then we're going to add on key down. And then we'll say const handle enter. And then we'll say e.key equals enter. Then we'll generate the message. But actually, we're going to take it one more step further. We're going to create a function called handle send. And we're going to actually say this is just going to call handle send. If the keys enter, handle the send. So this is going to be our main send function. And now we can add handle enter like that. And now on key down, we'll go ahead and chain up to this generate function. The other thing we need to do after we generate this is we need to set the message back to empty. Okay, and then on this button, we can give it an on click to do the exact same thing. So the on click is going to be handle send like that. So if you click on the button, it will do this. If you press enter, it will do this. It'll generate based on your message. And yeah, so let's say hello. And now we can press F12 and see what happened. Status 400. That means it's our fault. 400 is our fault. Why? Good question. Messages. I think that's it. Yeah, okay, it's messages. I'm glad I saw that in like 2 seconds because that could have been annoying. Anyway, so if we go in and see what our response looks like, okay, so we have data. So if we go into data, then we have choices. Then we have choices, which is an array, and then we have a message, and the response is here. So the assistant said, hello, hi, is there anything I can help you with? That's wonderful. And it's not showing the message here because right now we're just mapping out hi for however many responses are in there. So let's go ahead and get this message added. So what we'll say here is we'll say const response is equal to res.data.choices 0 dot message. Okay, and that's this message is this object here. Okay, this object. So now what we can do is we can say set feed to be, get the current value of the feed at this moment in time, and then we're going to say make the feed what it already is, but then also add in the response. And so actually we don't even need to put that. The response is already exactly this object that we need. So we'll just put the response into the feed like that. Okay. As you can see, we're getting very close. So now, boom, loading turns off. We go back to the app again. Now what we need to do is get this feed actually showing the correct thing. So I'm going to change this from returning straight JSX to returning an actual function, or to create a function that returns the JSX. And then we're going to do that so that way we can say if the role is assistant, say, okay, hold on. We'll say const is AI. So this is going to be a variable that tells us if the thing we're about to print out is the AI's response or not. And so we'll be able to use that to style them on the left side as opposed to the right. So actually, we're going to call this is human. Say if role is user. Like that. Is human. I like that a little bit more. Okay. And then we can create our message component. So we're going to create a message component. And the message inside of the message is going to have the content. The message is going to have a prop that's called is human. Or we can just call this blue message. Okay, and we'll do blue message if it is human. Okay, like that. Now we can create this message. Oops, too far. Let's keep it with the feed. So we'll say const message, and it's going to be a tail, or it's going to be actually the styled. So I'm going to show you this because this allows us to use the props, and I'll show you what that means. So if we say styled here, boom, like that. Now we're able to use our props. So what we do here is we say styled dot div, and then we're going to actually, div is a function, okay, and it takes in the props. So we're going to deconstruct the props from this blue message, and it's going to return actually an array of styles. So then we can start putting our tailwind styles on it, and then we can do a comma, and then we'll say blue message. So it already kind of knew what we were doing there. I'm not sure why it's tripping out. Give me one moment to see. I have my comma. I'm opening this and closing it. Did I forget something to close up here? Wait, why are you tripping on me, dog? Some over here? No. Oh, what is this? What is this? If I comment this out, no errors? Oh, you probably see it too over there. Wait, what happens? Wait, I don't get it. Wait, you're okay with that? No, you're not. Ah! Do I already have something called message? No, I really don't know what's wrong with this. Oh my goodness. Okay. It's like I'm not closing it. Maybe I'm not. Am I not? Oops. Oh, I'm literally not. Ah! Yeah, oh, there it is. Okay. There's a back tick. That's all it's called. Yeah. So, what is this A? I don't know what that A is. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and refresh. And then look at the feed, and is human passes in blue. Content. Okay. So actually, I think this should work. Hello, AI. See, it's working. We're talking to ChatGPT right now in our own little React app. So now, I guess what's left, is just styling it out. So to be honest, I need to get some love in the comments. If you guys want to see me style this out just to become just like an iPhone app. At this point, I'm going to leave it here. And I'm doing this on purpose. I know. I got time to make more, but I'm going to be working on some other things. So what I want to do is tomorrow, we're going to deploy this onto the internet so that you can show your friends and you can brag about it to your friends and all the rest of it. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Exciting things are coming. I want to build for you guys. I want to help accelerate your development career, show you what's impossible. And so that's why I'm doing some OpenAI stuff. OpenAI is a huge part of our future, as well as Web3 technologies, metaverse, a lot of other technologies. These are all coming into fruition very quickly. And if we can get on the wave of this and ride this up, we can really change our lives and build beautiful careers in web development and just development in general. Technology is the future. So if you want to see me style out the rest of this and make a tutorial on some more Tailwind stuff, because this is pretty cool actually. We'll actually do a little bit more just so I can be happy with how this looks. So we're going to give this a max width of 80%, and then we're also going to say width fit. So, and then we're going to say P2. Okay. Then we're going to say rounded. They're all going to have rounded tops like that. But then we'll say question mark here. And then we'll say this, and we'll say, oh yeah, we want this to be gray actually. Thank you, AI. Multiple AIs here today. Oh, that's good. Okay, and then we want, on these ones, we want rounded left, right? And then on these, we want rounded, wait, no, actually we want these to be rounded lefts, these to be rounded rights. Okay, and then we want ML auto. Okay, and then on the feed wrapper, we want a PX of 4. And then we want a PY of 2. Like that. Boom. Now, can you write me something that is 100 words? Okay. It's going to take a second. Oh, we better add loading state. So you can see now it's looking how we kind of want it to look. I'm definitely going to make this like double XL or something. Yeah, it's way better. Double XL is the move. Double XL, and then the tops are all going to be double XLs. Okay, so like that. Looks a little bit better. And then the padding can go up to 3 or something. Like that. Ooh. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, now we'll add the loading. So what we can do is pass in loading, and then we can say error equals error. Man, I told you I was done, but I was getting ahead of myself. We have to add this. This is important. So loading and error. This can be a string or it can be null. Okay. So at the very bottom, underneath the feed, we're going to say if there's loading, let's just go for that. So we'll say hi. It says loading, and then it turns into the message. We don't want this to be a blue message. We do want it to be like ... We could grab a graphic to make it look like the iPhone message ones. I also want to add in here auto scroll to the bottom. So we'll add that here in a second. And then we want to also add, in the off chance that there's an error, we'll show the error. But that will never happen in our apps. That's the beauty of what we do here. I'm just kidding. Now what we need to do is we need to say, check if this is the last message. So we'll say const is last message. Okay. Okay. And then we'll say equals. Sorry. First of all, equals. First of all, if we're loading, it won't be. So if not loading, because if we're loading, then this is the last message. Okay. If not loading and not error, and oh, whoa, this might be exactly cool. If the index of this is equal to the feed length minus 1. Yeah, that'll work. So that'll give us the last. This is going to tell us a Boolean if it's the last message or not. And so the last message is the one that we need to scroll to. So I'm going to create a const scroll ref equals use ref. And so then we're going to put scroll ref on this component all the time, like this. So if loading is true, then scroll ref is going to go into this. If loading is false, then it's going to go to the last message. So we'll say ref is equal to is last message. And we have to do question mark, and then we'll say scroll ref, otherwise undefined, because we can't put false as the ref. So we have to do it like this. So if the last message is true, then scroll ref, otherwise undefined. Okay? just like that. So now our ref is going to be on the last element at all times. Then we can make a use effect that's going to re-trigger every time the feed changes. So when new things happen to the feed, but we also want it to change if loading changes. Okay. Yeah, like that. Okay. Now we'll import use effect at the top of the file like that. And then what we need to do is we need to use this exactly. So if there's a scroll ref, so this is what the question mark's for. If there is currently a scroll ref in the current, then we want to scroll it into view. It says use effect is not defined. I don't believe you. Okay. So if we refresh. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh well. Write a 400 word anything. So there's our loading. Boo, 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 boo. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how long 400 words was. So the point of that was, so if I say hi, see it scrolls. Sweet. Okay. What I want to do is make the loading. So I'm going to do a const timeout equals set timeout. And the reason I want to do this is so that way my message goes and then the loading comes in a little bit after. Okay. Like this. And then we'll say like give half a second before we turn it true. But then I set it to a variable so that way if we do get here that we can clear the timeout before so let's say theoretically it hasn't turned true and it already turned false, then it would always be true, so we clear it right before then. So now if I say testing, it didn't do what I expected. It's also not scrolling far enough. Let's look into that. Let's take loading off for a minute. Okay, totally not working. This is not working. Okay, so all we have to do is just grab the index. This is what I was originally going to do, and we're going to say if index is equal to, now it's working. Hello. Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. So it's working how we want it. So now if we add this back again, let's test. Beautiful. I'm actually going to make this delay 800 milliseconds. And then the last thing I want to do is actually just find iPhone typing GIF. Okay. Then we're going to open up our project, assets. Then I'm going to press F2. Oh, these sons of guns. They didn't crop it. Here. That's better. Save that. Click this one, delete it. Take this one into the assets. Then we're going to say F2 and say loading.gif. And then we'll go back to our app. Scroll to the top and we'll import loading. Loading GIF from assets loading.gif. Okay. Then we'll grab the GIF, head to this, remove this message component, and make a GIF component, which is going to just be an image. and the alt will be equal to loading. Now the GIF itself is going to be here. We'll say const GIF equals tailwind image. And let's see how it looks now. Oh, too quick. Wait, hold on. Another 100 words. Whoa! Okay, it doesn't look like... Oh, the GIF is totally here. The problem is that I took off the ref. That's why it's not scrolling to it. So we'll say scroll ref. Okay, nice. So now we just need to style this out. Height of 10 or something. Yeah, let's try that. And what we'll actually do is just say, okay, height of 10, and then we need to give it a width of 16 or something. Yeah, buddy. We'll take that. That's good enough. That's definitely good enough. So we'll say loading and then we'll actually go back to this and change this back to 500 because I like it so much I want to see it more. More text, please. I think it needs a little bit more height. Oddly enough, I think it needs to be this size. Look at that. We did it. We did it. What we set out to do, we did. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. I hope this is useful for you. I'd love to hear you guys down in the comments like I was saying before, and I'll say again. I really am creating this content for you guys, and I really am excited for where we can take this. I want to take it to the next level over and over forever. So if that sounds good to you guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Talk about what you want to create. Talk about what you're struggling with in your development journey, where you're at, what level you're at. And I'm going to focus on to work with my audience, immediate audience first. Now, saying that is because I plan on all of these courses, all of this attraction, law of attraction stuff, as well as development stuff that's coming together, this big platform community that we're building out here. This is the opportunity now to get in early and then take advantage of what we're truly trying to give with React Jesus and Brightside Developer and all of the rest of it. So if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Peace.